August 7, 2020. A middle-aged man drives through the affluent Abzad district, windows down, enjoying the summer evening. His name is Mohsen Fakhrizadeh and is the most protected scientist in Iran. Head of the country's nuclear weapons program, surrounded by revolutionary guards, tracked by multiple security details, living under protocols designed to make him untouchable. In the next 90 seconds, he'll be dead, shot multiple times by a weapon that isn't there, killed by assassins who are nowhere near him. In an operation so technologically advanced that Iranian investigators will struggle to believe their own forensic evidence. This is the story of how Israel killed a man without sending a single operative into enemy territory, turning science fiction into operational reality. Before we dive in, hit subscribe to Mossad Classified. This channel uncovers secret missions, intelligence tactics, and covert history they never meant for the public to see. Understanding why Fakhrizadeh had to die requires understanding what he represented to both Iran and Israel. Born in 1958 in Qom, Iran's religious center, Fakhrizadeh grew up during the Shah's final years and came of age during the Islamic Revolution. He studied physics at Shahid Beheshti University, distinguishing himself as exceptionally gifted in theoretical and applied nuclear science. While other students pursued civilian careers, Fakhrizadeh was recruited by the Revolutionary Guards, Iran's ideologically driven military force answering directly to the supreme leader. His brilliance made him invaluable. His loyalty made him trusted. By the late 1990s, he was running what Western intelligence agencies called the Ahmad program, Iran's covert effort to develop nuclear weapons. The program's existence was Iran's worst-kept secret. International inspectors suspected it. Israeli intelligence documented it. American agencies tracked it. But proving it required penetrating Iran's security apparatus, accessing classified facilities, and obtaining documentation that Iran denied existed. Fakhrizadeh was the architect of this shadow program, coordinating research across multiple sites, managing scientists who didn't know what their colleagues were working on, and ensuring that each piece of the nuclear puzzle remained compartmentalized. If Iran succeeded in building a bomb, Fakhrizadeh would be the man who made it possible. That made him not just a target, but the target, the single individual whose elimination might delay or derail Iran's nuclear ambitions more effectively than any diplomatic pressure or economic sanction. Israeli intelligence had been tracking Fakhrizadeh since the early 2000s. His name appeared in documents obtained through various means, some from defectors, others from signals intelligence, and a few from human sources inside Iran's nuclear establishment. By 2010, Mossad had compiled a comprehensive file of his movements, his family, his security protocols, and his role in the weapons program. But knowing who he was and where he worked wasn't enough. Fakhrizadeh didn't travel internationally. He rarely appeared in public. His commute between home and work followed unpredictable routes with multiple security vehicles. He lived in a fortified compound. Revolutionary guards screened everyone who came near him. Assassination seemed impossible. Traditional methods wouldn't work. Sending operatives into Iran to conduct a close-quarters assassination was suicidal. Iranian counterintelligence had penetrated multiple Israeli networks, executed agents, and rolled up operations with brutal efficiency. A car bomb required accessing his vehicle, impossible given the security surrounding it. Poison demanded getting close enough to contaminate food or drink, equally impossible. A sniper would need line of sight and escape routes, both unavailable in Tehran's controlled environment. Every conventional assassination method ran into the same insurmountable obstacle. Fakhrizadeh's security made him physically unreachable. The breakthrough came from an unexpected direction. Israel's defense industries had been developing autonomous weapons systems for years, designing drones that could identify and engage targets without human operators, and creating remote weapons platforms that could be positioned in advance and activated when needed. These technologies were tested in laboratories and proving grounds, refined through iterations that made them smaller, more reliable, and more lethal. By 2018, Israeli engineers had created something extraordinary, a remotely operated machine gun system that could be concealed, deployed in hostile territory, and activated via satellite link to engage a specific target with precision that human snipers couldn't match. The weapon weighed approximately 150 kilograms, compact enough to fit in a large shipping container, but heavy enough to handle recoil from sustained fire. It incorporated advanced optics with facial recognition software, artificial intelligence that could compensate for vehicle movement and distance, and a satellite communication system allowing real-time control from anywhere on Earth. The gun itself was a modified FMAG machine gun, Belgian-made, reliable and powerful enough to penetrate vehicle armor. The entire system could be disassembled, smuggled into a target country piece by piece, reassembled in a concealed position, and left dormant for weeks until activation. It was, in essence, a robotic assassin that never got tired, never panicked, and never left witnesses. Getting the weapon into Iran required a network of assets that Mossad had been cultivating for years. Intelligence services don't just recruit spies who steal documents. They develop logistics specialists who move equipment across borders, business people who provide cover for shipments, and technicians who install and maintain sophisticated equipment in hostile environments. The weapons system entered Iran through commercial channels, likely disguised as industrial machinery or telecommunications equipment. Customs inspectors who examined the shipment saw nothing alarming. The paperwork was perfect. The company importing it appeared legitimate. By mid-2020, the weapon system was inside Iran, stored in a warehouse, waiting for final deployment. The operational team selected Abzad as the ambush site after months of surveillance. Located about 70 kilometers east of Tehran, Abzad was on one of the routes Fakhrizadeh used when traveling to Parchin, a military complex where nuclear weapons research continued despite international agreements. The road through Abzad was relatively isolated, passing through areas where a concealed firing position could be established without immediate detection. The location offered clear sightlines, limited civilian traffic, and escape routes for the weapons support team if they needed to evacuate quickly. Operatives, likely Iranian nationals recruited by Mossad, transported the weapon system to Abzad in a commercial truck. They rented a property near the road, a small compound with walls that provided visual cover. Over several nights, working only in darkness, they assembled the weapon and positioned it in a concealed mount that allowed rotation and elevation adjustment. They tested the targeting systems, calibrated the facial recognition software using photographs of Fakhrizadeh, and established the satellite communication link that would allow operators in Israel to control the weapon in real time. The entire installation was camouflaged to appear as ordinary construction equipment or storage containers if anyone happened to look. The weapon's artificial intelligence was programmed with specific parameters. It would only fire when Fakhrizadeh's face was positively identified, reducing the risk of killing the wrong person. It would account for vehicle speed and distance, calculating trajectories that compensated for movement. It would prioritize headshots to ensure lethality. And it would cease fire once the target was confirmed dead, minimizing ammunition expenditure and the chance of hitting bystanders. The system was essentially a perfect marksman, capable of precision that human shooters could achieve only in ideal conditions, and doing so while the operators sat thousands of kilometers away in air-conditioned control rooms. A quick reminder, if you're still watching, you're exactly the type of person this channel is made for. Subscribe to Mossad Classified for deep intelligence breakdowns, psychological warfare analysis, and the hidden truths behind the world's most feared agency. August 7th, the 20th, approximately 2:30 p.m. Fakhrizadeh's Parchin military complex with his security detail. 3 vehicles, an advance car scouting for threats, Fakhrizadeh's armored Nissan sedan with his wife beside him, and a trailing vehicle with armed guards. The convoy followed security protocols that had protected him for years, varying speeds, watching for surveillance, maintaining communication with command centers that monitored their progress. Intelligence later suggested that Mossad had penetrated Iran's communication networks, allowing Israeli operators to track the convoy in real time through the security detail zone radio traffic. As the convoy approached Abzad, operators in Israel activated the weapons system. Cameras mounted on the gun platform transmitted high-definition video via satellite. The operators could see the road, the approaching vehicles, and crucially, the faces of people inside through sophisticated optics that penetrated tinted windows. The artificial intelligence began processing images, comparing them against Fakhrizadeh's profile stored in its database. When the convoy entered the kill zone, the system identified its target with 100% certainty. The order was given. The weapon engaged. The first burst struck Fakhrizadeh's vehicle with devastating accuracy. Rounds penetrated the armored body, shattering windows and striking the scientist multiple times. Fakhrizadeh's wife, sitting beside him, was physically unharmed despite being in the same vehicle, a testament to the weapon's precision. The security detail reacted immediately, returning fire in the direction they believed the shots originated. But they were shooting at a robotic platform that didn't care about suppressing fire or self-preservation. The weapon continued engaging, firing controlled bursts that struck Fakhrizadeh repeatedly, ensuring lethality. Within 90 seconds, it was over. Fakhrizadeh lay dying or already dead from multiple gunshot wounds. His security detail had expended hundreds of rounds shooting at a position where they thought a sniper must be hiding. They found the weapon platform, but struggled to understand what they were looking at. It wasn't a sniper. There was no assassin. Just a sophisticated machine that had executed its programming with lethal efficiency. By the time Iranian investigators secured the scene, the weapon had already transmitted its final status report to Israel: mission accomplished, target eliminated. The forensic investigation that followed revealed details that Iranian authorities initially didn't want to believe. The weapon system was identified as a remote-operated platform controlled via satellite, equipped with facial recognition and artificial intelligence. Investigators found approximately 13 bullets had struck Fakhrizadeh, fired with precision that suggested computer-assisted targeting rather than human marksmanship. The weapon itself had been partially destroyed by explosives built into its frame, a self-destruct mechanism that prevented complete forensic analysis but didn't fully eliminate evidence. Iranian officials claimed they recovered enough components to understand the system's sophistication and trace some elements back to Israeli defense contractors. The political response was predictable but constrained. Iran's government vowed retaliation, calling the assassination an act of war and promising that those responsible would face justice. But the actual options for response were limited. Attacking Israeli targets directly risked escalation that Iran couldn't afford. Proxy attacks through Hezbollah or other allied groups would invite Israeli retaliation. The uncomfortable truth was that Iran had been humiliated technologically, as much as strategically. Their most protected scientist had been killed by a weapon system they couldn't defend against, using technology they didn't possess, in an operation that demonstrated Israeli intelligence capabilities far exceeded Iranian counterintelligence. International reactions varied by geopolitical alignment. The United States, under the Trump administration, tacitly supported the operation, viewing Fakhrizadeh's elimination as a legitimate action against Iran's nuclear weapons program. European nations issued carefully worded statements expressing concern about extrajudicial killings, while privately acknowledging that Fakhrizadeh was engaged in weapons development that violated international agreements. Russia and China condemned the assassination as a violation of Iranian sovereignty, but neither took concrete action beyond diplomatic statements. The UN Security Council debated the incident without reaching any consensus or imposing consequences. Israel maintained its standard operational posture, neither confirming nor denying responsibility. Official spokespeople declined to comment when asked directly about the assassination, but the silence was strategic rather than uncertain. Israeli media, operating under military censorship that prevents publication of classified information without approval, reported details about the operation that could only have come from official sources. The message was clear. Israel wanted the world to know what it had done, to understand the capabilities it possessed, and to recognize that Iran's nuclear program remained vulnerable regardless of security measures. The assassination's impact on Iran's nuclear program is difficult to quantify precisely, but certainly significant. Fakhrizadeh wasn't just another scientist who could be replaced. He had spent decades building the covert weapons program, accumulating knowledge and relationships that couldn't be transferred to a successor. His death created a leadership vacuum that disrupted ongoing research and forced restructuring of the entire program. Iranian officials publicly minimized the impact, claiming the program would continue without delay, but intelligence assessments suggested otherwise. Projects stalled. Coordination between research sites deteriorated. Scientists became paranoid about security, afraid they might be the next target. Perhaps more importantly, the operation demonstrated a capability that changed the calculus of protection. If Israel could kill Fakhrizadeh despite all his security measures, who else was vulnerable? Other senior scientists began demanding increased protection or requesting transfers to less sensitive work. The Revolutionary Guards had to divert resources to protecting nuclear personnel rather than focusing on weapons development. The psychological impact rippled through Iran's entire nuclear establishment, creating an environment of fear and uncertainty that undermined productivity and morale. The technology Israel demonstrated in Absard represented a paradigm shift in targeted killing. Previous assassinations required operatives in the target country, whether conducting the hit directly or supporting local assets. The risks were substantial, including capture, exposure of intelligence networks, and potential casualties among Israeli personnel. The remote weapons platform eliminated these risks entirely. Operators conducting the assassination never left Israeli territory. No Israeli agents were exposed. No diplomatic complications arose from captured operatives. The operation was conducted with clinical detachment, reducing assassination to a video game where consequences remain distant and abstract for those pulling the trigger. This technological approach raises profound ethical and legal questions that intelligence services and policymakers haven't fully addressed. Traditional assassination requires someone to look their target in the eyes, to confront the humanity of the person they're killing, and to accept the moral weight of taking a life. Remote killing via autonomous or semi-autonomous weapons creates distance that makes killing easier psychologically, but potentially more dangerous morally. If assassination becomes as simple as pressing a button thousands of kilometers away, what prevents its overuse? What restraints exist when the costs and risks approach zero? The legal framework governing such operations remains ambiguous. International law prohibits extrajudicial killing, but also recognizes self-defense and preemptive action against imminent threats. Israel argued that Fakhrizadeh's work on nuclear weapons constituted an existential threat justifying preemptive action. Iran countered that assassinating a scientist on their soil violated sovereignty and international norms against state-sponsored murder. Both positions have legal precedent supporting them, creating a gray area where powerful states can act with relative impunity as long as they maintain strategic ambiguity and avoid creating evidence that demands international response. The operation also highlighted the growing role of technology in intelligence work. Where previous generations of Mossad operatives relied on human intelligence, disguises, and close-quarters tradecraft, modern operations increasingly depend on signals intelligence, cyber capabilities, and advanced weapons systems. The romantic image of the spy as a James Bond figure conducting daring operations personally is being replaced by technicians operating from control rooms, hackers penetrating computer networks, and engineers designing weapons that kill without requiring human presence. This transformation makes intelligence services more capable, but potentially less accountable, conducting operations that leave minimal evidence and can be denied plausibly. Iranian attempts to retaliate have been limited and largely symbolic. In January 2021, Iranian-backed militias fired rockets at the US Embassy in Baghdad, allegedly in response to Fakhrizadeh's killing. But the attack caused minimal damage and didn't change the strategic situation. Iranian cyber operations targeted Israeli infrastructure, but were largely defeated by defensive measures. Plans for direct retaliation against Israeli targets have apparently been shelved or disrupted by Israeli intelligence, which continues penetrating Iranian networks and preempting attacks before they can be executed. The long-term consequences of the assassination extend beyond the immediate impact on Iran's nuclear program. It established a precedent that other nations will study and potentially replicate. China, Russia, and other technologically advanced nations are developing similar autonomous weapons systems. The barriers to conducting remote assassinations are falling as technology becomes more accessible and sophisticated. The world is entering an era where targeted killing can be conducted globally with minimal risk to the attacking nation, fundamentally changing how states pursue their interests and eliminate threats. For the operatives who conducted the operation, the assassination represents professional success measured in strategic terms rather than moral ones. They identified a threat, developed a technological solution, and executed a mission that achieved its objectives with zero friendly casualties and minimal collateral damage. Whether that success is morally justified depends entirely on perspective. To those who view Iran's nuclear program as an existential threat to Israel, the assassination was necessary self-defense. To those who oppose extrajudicial killing regardless of justification, it was murder dressed in strategic necessity. The Iranian scientists who worked with Fakhrizadeh face an impossible choice: continue the nuclear work and risk becoming the next target, or abandon careers they've devoted their lives to building. Some have reportedly fled Iran, seeking asylum in countries where Israeli intelligence is less likely to pursue them. Others have requested transfers to civilian research programs, hoping that working on peaceful applications will remove them from target lists. A few have stayed, either from ideological commitment or because they believe security measures can protect them. Time will tell whether their confidence is justified or fatally misplaced. If this story kept you watching, then don't just leave. Join the inner circle, subscribe to Mossad Classified, and turn future episodes into automatic intel drops. Because here's the question that should terrify anyone with secrets worth protecting. If Israel can kill Iran's most protected scientist without sending a single operative into enemy territory, who else can they reach? And more importantly, what other impossible operations have already been executed without us knowing they even happened?